Okay guys, this is the crash course on Cub-O. I'm gonna wing this rather than do a whole production facility, but we're gonna make it work. This is a map from last year, Cub-O. This represents the northern part of the ranch. What I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna talk a little bit about the parts of a map and how to read it. I'm gonna show you where home is, maybe some aspects of the event. We'll talk a little bit about the legend over here. We'll talk a little bit about the control points and how those work, a little bit about distance and direction, how to use a compass. So first things first, when you got the map, all right, you got to kind of get it lined up with north. So I'm going to try to get this lined up. So I've got this compass here, and compasses are real handy because they show you which way is north. So the little red arrow here will show you that that way is north. And on every map, there's going to be somewhere on here that's got where north is related to the map. So that's here. So you can see it's actually got a magnetic north and a north-north, but since we're using a compass, I'm going to go with magnetic north. All right, so for the pro tip here, you're going to take your compass, and you can do this in the field. Get a flat surface, definitely flat, it's important. But I'm going to line that right up with north there. So just to cheat here, I'm gonna tape this to the table. Don't tell Rian. And then that'll keep it from moving around while we're talking here. So just do that real quick. Got a little bit of a fold there. We're doing it live. All right, so I'm gonna back that back out. Okay, so we talked about, so this is the parts of the map, right? Let's talk about where do we start? How do we find where we start? Well, conveniently, they've pointed that out for us here, start and finish. One of the things you'll notice is a lot of yellow around there. If we go over to our legend, you'll see yellow is open land and scattered trees. That makes sense. So you kind of look around your surroundings, what makes sense? The big old field. The other thing you'll notice are these little black squares here. Those are buildings. So we'll probably be starting right next to the mess hall. There's probably like a parking lot around here. So you'll be able to orientate yourself pretty quickly on the map. Now, next thing you'll notice is lines. These are important, right? These black lines represent roads, right? So these are paved roads mostly. So if you can always sort of orient yourself based on roads. Another really key helpful thing for orienting yourself, particularly when you're in the woods, is going to be obviously fences, but power lines. And power lines, when you'll see them kind of scattered here, they are I think the dashed lines here. So you can see them kind of, that makes sense, coming out of a building, you'd have power lines going there. So if you look up, you might be able to see a power line and get some sense of orientation. There's another thing here to point out, is the elevation lines. So if you see these little concentric circle type things here, if you notice, what they do is they basically create a sort of a contour, and that 18 right there is, and if you look over here, 18, sure enough, hill on top, right? So you know that that's going to be a hill. So there's a couple elements with that involved, right? So it's a landmark in that respect. Also, you can have a little bit of an incline on your hike. So keep that in mind as you prepare your course. All right, so let's talk a little bit about, bumping around here a little bit, let's talk about distance, all right? So these are on the order of 1,000 meters. Conveniently, I mean, there's two ways you can do this, or 500 meters. Two ways you can do this. I did a little note card, right? So I got a little cheat sheet there, so I can just pull that up, and then anywhere on the map, I have a sense of where 500 meters is, right? Or a kilometer. Kilometer is about 0.6 of a mile. So think about, you know, this whole thing's probably maybe a mile or so in height. So when you're thinking about how far you want to go in your trajectory, keep that in mind. Another little cheat here is my compass. You'll see over here has numbers on it as well. And conveniently, that lines up real nicely with my 500 meters. Here, I'll zoom in that a little bit. But you see how it's got the 5 there, and I come on down there. So now I can take that and put that on the map. And as long as I got 1 in the corner here, I can figure out what the distance is between 2 points. So you can see here, let me see if I can scoot that over there. There's 1, there's 0, there's 2. So that's about 200 meters. How far is a meter? Well, conveniently, this is a yardstick. Oh, I want to go sideways. We'll back it out. That's a yardstick there. A meter is a yard is a meter, and this is actually about 1 pace. So if I put my foot here, boom, and I step, boom, that's about 1 pace. So when you're walking along, particularly the adults, The kids' steps will be a little shorter. You can keep track, right? So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Every time you take a step, count it. I've gone 10 meters. I've gone 15 meters. So if I know I'm going from 9 to 13 over here, and I know that's 2,000 or 200 meters, it's effectively 200 steps. So I can do that in my little chart here. I'm like, okay, we're going from 3 to 9, or whatever I said. I know that's 200 meters or 200 steps. So you can count it out that way. It's a good way of keeping track of distance. So that's a little something on distance. Talked about. Let's talk a little bit about the points here. All right, so there's a whole bunch of different numbers everywhere, right? The points have value based on the size of the number. So you see control points 1 through 10 are worth 5 points each, 21 through 30, 15, 41 through 42 worth 30. Why is 30 worth so much? Well, if we back out, 41 and 42 worth so much, we back out, we'll see 42 is up here, which I think we said is about a mile out. 41 is about a mile out this way. So obviously if you're planning your course